I remade every mob into realistic Pokemon in Minecraft. Let's turn this Enderman into an Alolan Executor. The Alolan form of the Executor is super tall, so let's give this Pokemon some height. It needs some strong legs to support it and a big tail for balance. And those coconut-style heads to the top. And of course, the palm leaves. Give it some color, those iconic faces, and lots of tree texture. And the Executor is looking very tall, and his faces are extremely happy. Oh, wait a second, there's something going on here now. There are things dropping from his branches. What in the world is this? Let me pick it up. Here we go. Okay, I got 4 of them there. It's a coconut. Can I eat it? I can't eat the coconut. It's not doing anything at all. I can munch it and keep munching it, and I don't feel any differently. I think we give our Alolan Executor a realism rating of 5 out of 10 and a Pokemon rating, 5 out of 10 as well. We're definitely gonna have to do a whole lot better. We'll make this Phantom into Sinistea. No need for wings. We'll use the main body to start on our teacup. Get that teacup shape. Don't forget the chip on the side. With a tiny little handle, fill it up with purple tea, and its face is made out of the design on the cup. Add a swirl to the tier, and this cup is ready to go. Ever so extremely tiny. Our Sinistea looks legit so far all the way around, and the tea is definitely purple and definitely leaking out from the crack on the side. Let's find out how this thing behaves when it's approached by a hostile mob. The Sinistea is going into the air right now. That is impressive, and firing off an ultra spectacular beam that's slowly poisoning the husk down. The Sinistea is keeping distance, but firing off this beam again. There goes a third, but then goes down. Realism rating on the T, I'm gonna say 4 out of 10. Pokemon rating though, we're gonna have to say 10 out of 10. Up in one category, down in another. We still got work to do. We can make a wolf into a furret. This wolf is gonna need a way bigger body to be a furret though. Get that long body stretched out, furry body with those pointy ears on top, a big fluffy tail, cover it in stripes with a cute little face, and it's ready to go. The heads of the furret is looking furry. And wait a second, he's actually already digging. He's dug down to the cobblestone, and then he's digging under the dirt a small little tunnel. Now that is impressive. There's another tunnel being dug this direction, and he's going up an actually steeper part of the hill over here. Let's see where this furret decides to pop out. Let's see what happens if we raise the threat level here. There goes another dig right there, digging down even further, digging back the other direction. Look at this right here. Our furret has done a double tunnel back this direction. Although this furret does look big, the fur doesn't look so furry. So our realism, I'm gonna put at a 5 out of 10. So our Pokemon rating might fall just a tad, but I think we still keep it at a 6 out of 10. Let's see if we can pull that Pokemon rating up to a 10. Let's turn this bat into a cutie fly. We'll need to adjust the body a bit to be more horizontal. Add what will be our pointy nose. Make those bat wings into fly wings. Start adding in some color here and here. And with a little shaping, this cutie fly is ready for takeoff. Ooh, cutie fly is cute. A tiny little stinger on the front. Little tiny flapping wings. Ooh, it's fast though. We're gonna have to be careful to keep an eye on Cutie Fly this entire time. Let's see how Cutie Fly does. Looks like Cutie Fly sends out a massive gust of wind towards the husk, spins him around. Oh my word, he's stuck in there, taking damage the entire time. Right when he gets out, another gust lands and he starts spinning again and goes down. This Pokemon rating, I'd say 9 out of 10. Now on the other hand, I think we might have to drop the realism for Cutie Pie down to a 3.5. A sheep is perfect to make into a Wooloo. A Wooloo will need some horns and big floppy ears, a little more realism to the legs there, add in a lot of fluffy wool, and the classic pigtails framing its face, a splash of white, a little pink nose. Look at that cute face. And these guys look amazing. Minus the braids coming off of their head, I imagine that these Wooloo look pretty close to actual sheep in real life. They're big and round, and they look like tiny white tennis balls. Time to test the truth of that wool. Ooh, we did get some. Let's see. Oh, we got a lot. I don't know if we get that much wool from every Wooloo, though. Let's see. Here we go, buddy. Come on, let me see how much you got. Woo, nearly half the stack. Realistic rating, 9 out of 10. Now the Pokemon rating, we'll leave it at a 6.5. We have to make this big into Bulbasaur. The head isn't quite the right shape. Let's see. There we go. Make it shorter and tilt that posture a bit. We'll add the plant bulb to its back. Get the perfect red eyes and a big smile, and his green spots all over. Well, let's go ahead and plop Bulbasaur down right here. This guy looks exactly the right size. I think he went to hide inside the flowers, but he's slightly the wrong color to be able to keep himself fully disguised. Let's add some husks to the equation here. Instantly, Bulbasaur backs up, targets the husk, and sends out the Razor Leaf attack to go after those husks. And launches that Razor Leaf that knocks the husk out. Bulbasaur is an amphibian, but it's not very frog-like. It is a plant, but only partly. So I'm gonna have to say low realism points, but that said, on the Pokemon scale, Bulbasaur and the Razor Leaf attack, perfectly Pokemon. 10 out of 10. There's plenty of bee Pokemon, but this bee is going to be Beedrill. Take that tiny bee body and make it bigger and longer, build out that dangerous stinger, some tiny legs and arms that end in some sharp stingers, big round wings on the back, and with some final touches of color, this Beedrill is looking dangerous. And if Beedrill is nearly standing completely upright, you can tell that Beedrill's still floating or flying or flapping. Super sharp stingers on the hands look extremely dangerous. Beedrill is firing out a stinger towards the husk. There it goes, and it lands, and it poisons just like you would expect. How much longer is this husk going to survive? Not long is the answer. The accuracy really isn't there too much, and I would imagine that a realistic bee would get a little closer to actually land a sting shot. I'll say 4.5 out of 10. And Pokemon-wise, pretty close. 7 out of 10. I still think we can do better, though. Let's turn this cactus into Maractus. We'll make this cactus way bigger, adding a head and some arms branching off, plus those ear-like extensions from its head. Make it spiky, covered in yellow thorns, with bright pink flowers and those big yellow eyes. Let's find ourselves a little spotted desert here. We're pulling out Maractus. Overall, looking solid so far. The coolest part about Maractus, though, is the ability to toss needles. You never want to touch a cactus, and that's the reason why right there. This Maractus will fire out needles in all directions, hitting everything around it. Even if we pack up some husks all around Maractus here, all together, just fire it out in all directions. 360 degrees of destruction. Maractus fell in the water, and I think that might be the end of our Maractus. And needles are sharp, and Maractus is sharp, so I'm gonna say 6 out of 10 on the realistic factor. And on top of that, it does look like Maractus, so I'm gonna say 8 out of 10. We can definitely get a 10 out of 10 for both realism as well as Pokemon. This box will be our Bidoof. It'll need a flatter face with some big buck teeth, that tail floof, give her a face and some floppy round ears, a little extra color, and she's ready to rock. There we go. He does look like a beaver. His face is less proportional to his body than I would expect a beaver face to be, but he does move very quickly like I would expect a beaver to move. Beavers, of course, can float on the water. I think they do their thing on their backs, and he's floating to the opposite side towards the tree, actually. They're both going after the tree. They're eating the tree just like beavers. There's not a log left in this tree. Everything's been removed. What happens if I spawn in a Bidoof around a bunch of trees? They're instantly going towards trees. They're eating them all down. There goes one right there. They go straight to another one. They've got a one-track mind. I think this intense focus on the trees has got to be a 7 out of 10 on realism. But it's not quite perfect as a Pokemon. Maybe a 6.5. We're getting closer on average, but we still got work to do. Let's make a slime into a Magcargo. Flatten this little guy out into a longer base. Give him a neck and a big shell. Can't forget a head with its droopy magma face. This magma body can get up to 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit. Add some detail to its shell, plus flames coming out because it's so hot. With a little shading, this guy is fire. Now that is a red-hot snail. Doesn't quite move around like I would expect a snail to move, though. He's sort of lagging around, but he's still able to spawn the lava all around because he's as hot as the sun, which is a good sign. If we pulled in husks everywhere, our Magcargo is spreading himself all over the valley, spreading the fire along with it, and those husks are getting toasty. Of course, we've got to be honest though, this is not what you expect from a snail. Accurate to the Pokemon, making us a 9 out of 10, but not so realistic, making us only maybe a 2 out of 10 at best. We've got one final option fortune to close out the 10 out of 10 on both categories. Let's turn this chicken into flamingo. Raise up that body. The flamingo has a knot as the base of its neck like a balloon animal. Some super long legs and a super long neck to match with a smooth curve. They've got kind of pointy little heads with their beaks. Can't forget how they like to stand with one leg propped up. This flamingo is looking friendly. We have got flamingo. Look at the tiny legs sticking out in front of it. This guy looks exactly like a flamingo you'd see in the zoo. Let's see what flamingo does. He charges with one hit right there, and then he backs up and he fires off a bird projectile. That one hits the grass, unfortunately. Here we go. There goes a physical tackle. That one backs up again, fires off the projectile. That one misses as well. It's all right. We'd expect a miss here and there. Here goes another projectile. That one hits the grass. Come on, pull it together, flamingo. Here goes another charge up right there. That one goes right over their heads. My goodness. I knew you could not pack such a perfect brain into that tiny little skull. There goes the charge, and that one lands, though, and the husk takes damage. 10 out of 10 on Pokemon, 10 out of 10 on realism. A perfect score for our flamingo.